Hello and welcome to my Thought Bubbles. Now, Thought Bubbles is a series of videos I'm going to be doing where I basically give my thoughts on different subjects, usually pertaining to video games, and I just sort of talk about them with you. A bit of rambling here and there, but I just talk them out with you and let you know what I think. And today's topic is going to be Splatoon and Splatoon 2. So before I go into the main point and meat of the topic today, let me explain to you my history with Splatoon 1. Now, Splatoon 1 was one of the games I was most hyped for ever. I'm a decently big shooting fan with games such as Halo and Battlefield, so I was really stoked to see a shooter by Nintendo and that Nintendo quirk and flair where they make their own thing, you know? Kind of like how ARMS does to the fighting game genre and things like that. I was really excited to see Splatoon's go at it. I almost got it day one. I got it, within the same month, but the aim was day one. It couldn't work out though. And I would constantly bug my friends about how excited I was. Well, my friends seemed a bit skeptical, but I was just sold immediately. I eventually got the game, and I played a decent amount, but something about it made my attention just peter out. I lost interest in the game relatively quickly, and I just couldn't figure out why. I wanted to like it, I really, really did, but something about it just hit the wrong chords with me, and I couldn't really put into words what it was. I eventually sold the game, and I knew a sequel would be made. Everyone knew it would, and I told myself I would not get it. I would not suffer the same feeling of disappointment that I did now. I failed on that. Friends told me to give it another shot, to give it more time. So I did. I battled with myself a bit, but I ended up getting it and told myself to get to a certain amount of ranks or objectives and levels to complete before I wrote the game off, I finished most of those for Splatoon 2 now, and I think I can better put into words what my issues with the game are as a whole, both Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. So right now, I want to focus solely on Splatoon 1, and I think the main issue, if I had to put it in one word with the games, is restrictiveness. Now, Splatoon 1, like I said, I'm just going to focus on that for now. A big thing, and it was not the biggest complaint I have in terms of restrictiveness, that'll be later, but a big thing that hit me pretty obviously as to an issue I had was the lack of loadout choices. Basically, a loadout is the gun, or the weapon, the main weapon, the sub-weapon, and the special weapon. Now, the main weapon, let's say it's a slosher. The sub-weapon and special weapon will always be the exact same thing for the slosher. You can't change your sub-weapon to something you'd personally want more, and you can't change your special weapon to something you'd personally want more. And that really bugged me. It really bugged me at first, and it still really bugs me. With other games, let me use Halo as an example. With Halo, you can choose your main weapon, then you can choose whichever sidearm you want, you can choose your main type of grenade, and you can choose your armor ability. You can pretty much custom craft every weapon on your person. But with Splatoon, you can't do that. You're stuck to whatever main weapon you have. So let's say I like the slosher and I want the suction bomb. I don't know if the suction bomb comes. I think it comes with it in Splatoon 2. I have no idea about Splatoon 1. But I want to use a suction bomb with a slosher, and I also want to have bomb rush. I can't do that. I can't just pick and choose what I want. I'm stuck with whatever the slosher has as a side weapon. And that really irks me. I hear a lot of complaints, or a lot of, not complaints, the opposite. A lot of excuses as to why they do that, mostly being for balance purposes, but if I'm being honest, Splatoon arguably has the worst weapon balance of most shooters that I see. or at least the ones I've come into experience with, where the weapons, there are very obvious weapons that stand out amongst others, such as a Luna Blaster or a Carbon and Dynamo Roller and things like that, where they're very obviously good, while other weapons in their family are pretty outclassed by the aforementioned weapons. Um, and you don't really get that in something like Battlefield or Halo. There are no big, obvious, these are the best, avoid these. Splatoon seems to be one of the only shooters that I've played with that have that issue. And I really think that if you were able to choose different sub and special, you could maybe make a better case for some other weapons being used. There's also another point that I wanted to bring up there. Yeah. So basically, it makes it so that you can balance the weapons as weapons rather than having the balance be your weapon as well as balancing the subs and specials to it, and it makes it for an easier task if everything is individualized and balanced separately rather than in packs. But that's just my thought on that, and I'm not a huge competitive guy, so I have no idea if that's true or not. However, I definitely wish I could choose different weapons to have to different subs and specials, and it's a shame that it doesn't have that. There are some weapons, or most weapons in Splatoon 1 through updates where you can have one weapon and then you can get the exact same weapon but with a different special or sub. However, there's a lot of different subs and specials, so the chances that you'll get the one that you'd really like is slim to none. You kind of have to just well, this one is the one I'm most okay with, I guess. This one is the closest to ideal for my playstyle. And I don't know, it really rubs me the wrong way in terms of weapon choice there. Now, the big thing in terms of restricting this, however, is the scheduling and modes. This honestly baffles me as to how someone thinks this is good design. Say I want to play Rainmaker. It's a mode in Splatoon, and I want to play it. I just got home, and I'm really in the mood for some Rainmaker. I go to Ranked, and Rainmaker's not on. Oh well, I'm gonna have to wait 4, maybe 8, maybe even 12 hours before I can play Rainmaker. I could open a private battle, but then I'm also being tied to other people's schedules, and enough schedules to where it'd be a full enough room to be fun. The fact that I can't just go online and play Rainmaker at my leisure really upsets me. There is only one mode that is always available online, and that is Turf War. If you want to play Rainmaker, Splat Zones, or Tower Control, you have to wait until the scheduled time for that mode to be on Ranked, the competitive mode. That baffles me. That absolutely baffles me, and I don't understand why they decided to do it like this. So, I understand, let's say, cycling through different modes for Ranked. I can get that on its own, so that you kind of have to learn different modes to get your rank up. You have to learn how to be good in whatever. Although this also creates people who just stay away from ranked during certain hours, which is still bad. But even if you wanted to have the cycled modes in ranked, I feel there's no reason why you can't have it in non-ranked modes. If I just want to do a regular battle where I just hop online and play a mode, I don't get why I should be stuck to schedule for competitive like that. It makes no sense to me. To restrict such modes, and a majority of the modes at that, to competitive cycling schedule baffles me. I don't understand why it does that. It is one of the few games that I can name that do that. Say I'm on Battlefield, or playing Battlefield 3. I want to play Team Squad Deathmatch. I just press that option, and I play with whoever wants to play Team Squad Deathmatch at that time. Or I want to play zombies. I go to zombies. I don't have to wait for some schedule that I have to keep track of, and especially a schedule that loops every 4 to 12 hours. It's ridiculous that it does that. I really think it's a really poor design choice, and it really rubs me the wrong way and makes me not want to play. It forces me into a schedule of, well, I guess I don't really want to play this mode right now, so I guess I just won't play for the next 4 hours. I really don't like it. It's honestly one of the biggest design flaws, in my opinion, about Splatoon. And then you have the campaign mode in Splatoon 1, which I also think is really poorly crafted. You only get one weapon to learn. That is the Hero Shot, which is the Splattershot Pro clone. You get that one weapon for the entirety of the Splatoon campaign, and nothing else. You don't get to learn about how to use a charger. You don't learn about how to use the roller. You just learn the splatter shot. That is really, it's a really poor design choice. Again, one of the few shooters, maybe even the only shooter that I know that simplifies and restricts you so much like that. Not to mention that the campaign itself is pretty weak, and it's pretty set apart from the rest of the game. There are many different puzzles and platforms that you have to learn in the campaign but never use it in any other mode. You don't use it in multiplayer, and sometimes it's not even revisited in the own campaign mode. It really baffles me as to that choice, but it is one of the few things that they did fix in Splatoon 2. And now we'll jump into Splatoon 2, as that is the one I've had more time with. Now, Splatoon 2, straight up as a sequel, the world feels a lot more artificial. Splatoon 2 follows this out with the old, in with the new mentality, but the new things, they don't necessarily need to replace the old things. For instance, the shopkeepers. Almost all the shopkeepers are replaced for new ones. They don't do anything differently. They're the exact same function, just different people for no real reason given, and I don't really get that at all. It makes it feel, like I said, a lot more artificial, a lot more flat, and just new for the sake of new. I don't like that. Another thing like that is the specials. All the specials from Splatoon 1 were taken out, and you got completely new specials. I can get cutting some specials. I don't understand removing all of them. Like, maybe you could say gut some and like buff and nerf whatever's needed, but I don't understand completely removing all of them for new specials. Again, that's something that just feels like, hey, we're new for the sake of being new. I don't entirely get it, and I feel it could have been more interesting to have some returning specials, and maybe even the shopkeepers being the same. Like I said, I don't understand the shopkeepers being different. So there's no real reason given, and it's just they're there to be there, with the exception of Krusty Sheen moving careers, and that one I'm okay with. That is fine. I can see that, but the others just disappearing completely baffles me. I don't understand it at all. Another thing, back to weapons, there are less weapons in Splatoon 2 than in Splatoon 1. Now, there are more weapons in Splatoon 2 at base than there are in Splatoon 1 at base, but it just feels like you took so many options, and then you just cut a bunch of stuff, and it just feels a little more incomplete. Like, I see no reason as to why you didn't bring most things over, especially when some things are being brought over in updates. I don't entirely get that. I feel this sort of thing that Splatoon and Splatoon 2 have with constant updates making up for the lack of things in the base game is not exactly a good trend. They're free updates, I will give it that. However, it just feels like an artificial sense of fulfillment that you're constantly getting things, but they all feel like things that, or most things feel like weapons or modes that should have been in from the start. And I, like I said, I don't entirely like that. I already know that we're gonna get a lot of the old weapons that were cut in Splatoon 2 later in updates, and that just, again, rubs me the wrong way. I don't like that. Again, it feels like an artificial sense of new and keeping things fresh. Like, oh yay, we're getting our old things back, but why were they not here in the first place? The fact that Splatoon 2 has less weapons and maps than Splatoon 1 completed, again, it just, I don't know. I feel that's an artificial sense of fan service. Like, hey, you get these weapons back in an update. Are you hyped? Well, I would have been happier if they were already here. I don't see why they're not. I understand if maybe you put in a bunch of new weapons, but there are very few new weapons, and it's mostly just a majority, 90% of them are old weapons with a couple new weapons, and then everything else is just cut. Don't think it's a trend to follow at all. I don't like it, but we'll see how we go when we get to Splatoon 3, maybe. And then the scheduling. Scheduling issues are still there. You still can't play Rainmaker just online. You can't just choose to play Rainmaker. You have to do it either in private battle or during the ranked rotation. And I feel like that should have been an obvious thing to fix, the ability to play Rainmaker just online for fun, but it isn't. You have to play it in ranked, you have to play it in the cycle, or you have to get a full enough room with friends in private battles, and I don't know, that just feels like, again, a sense of restriction that really doesn't need to be there. They did cut down the hours per shift from 4 to 2 hours. 2 hours is still a lot. That's a lot of time, especially if you're someone who's working or going to school and don't have freedom to your own schedule. You're pretty much forced to either, if I like this mode, then yay, I'm happy. If I don't like this mode, I either have to bear through it because it's the only mode available for ranked, or I have to just wait it out and hope I have enough free time to make up for that. And it just feels like a really, really poor design choice that just keeps this artificial sense of fresh and keeping things different. Not to mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, but also that you only have 2 maps available, 2 random maps that you get no control over to play in those modes. So say you hate Rainmaker on the 2 modes available, well, sorry, you're gonna have to wait another, 4 to 8 hours before you can possibly get the map you want with that mode. Just overall poor decisions, in my opinion, just really, really big detriments that really could be fixed extremely easily if they wanted to, but they don't. And not to mention that they also added a split rank. So before, if you were playing ranked, you'd go from C- to S plus 99. That's it. You didn't have, there was all just one ranked rank. That's it. But with Splatoon 2, they made it so that you have a rank in Splat Zones, you have a rank in Rainmaker, and you have a rank in Tower Control, and they're all separate ranks. But you still can't choose what you want. That seems like an even worse scenario. Like, if you are happy with your rank in Splat Zones and Rainmaker and Tower Control is really suffering, you're going to want to, continue playing Tower Control to keep up that rank. However, you can't just choose to play Tower Control. You're going to have to just wait it out. And I don't like the whole idea of waiting hours, literal hours, to play a mode that you like. And having only one mode available of those 3. And Splatoon 2 also added 2 new things. it had a new campaign, and it had Salmon Run, a new mode that's basically like zombies, horde, or flood, you know, the typical survival aspect that most shooters have. Salmon Run, I think, is pretty fun, and most people seem to agree that it's pretty fun. However, it also suffers from the same thing that the ranked modes do, in that it's only available for certain hours. However, with Salmon Run, it's way worse of a situation, because it's only available every 12 to 24 hours. So basically, you'll have a time when it's open, and it's an extended period of time, like half a day or something. But then it's gone for half a day or more. Like, it's just, you can't play it. And unlike the ranked mode, you can't even play it with friends in a private battle. You have to play online together with your friends during certain hours, and just if they're available at a different time, you just straight up can't play together then. You're just gonna have to wait until the next session opens up, and you hope that it's when everyone is available. That's absolutely asinine to me. That's completely ridiculous, and I really don't understand why they do that. Not to mention that in Salmon Run, you only have one map available of the multiple maps. There's not a lot, but there's more than one, and you only have one randomly selected map available to you during that whole session. You get it for 12 to 24 hours of just that one map. I think it's 12 hours actually. But yes, just that one map during that whole session. And you have to hope that, like, if you don't like that map and you want a different one, you're gonna have to just wait until another session opens up at a later time or later day completely at this point for a different map. And it could be the same map, but you're stuck with it. Who cares? Screw you. You're done. It also has you're not allowed to choose your weapons either for Salmon Run, which I think is an interesting concept. I think it is interesting that you can't choose it, and I do like that everyone switches play styles, because they switch their weapons every wave. I think that's cool. However, the fact that you only have four weapons throughout that whole session, I think that's ridiculous. You can only have 4 weapons during that whole 12-hour session. You can't choose your own, you can't choose a different one, it's just 4 randomly selected weapons. And if the weapon loadout is garbage, well, say hello to D-ranking, because I forgot to mention, you have ranks in these. So the difficulty is set to a rank. You can private battle during the ranked modes, or the ranked, not the ranked modes. You can private battle during the Salmon Run times with your friends. However, it's still only available during the times that it's open to everyone. Again, completely ridiculous design choice to me, and the excuse they use is, oh, well, salmon are only available at certain times. I genuinely can't believe that's an actual excuse given for this. But yeah, so that irks me. I really don't understand why they're doing that with Salmon Run. Really think either the time should be fixed or something, anything, just not have it be that ridiculous. At least add it to private battles where you can play with your friends at any time or something. Like the fact that there are 5 modes, being Salmon Run, Turf War, Tower Control, Rainmaker, and Splat Zones. Out of the 5 modes available in the game as a whole, there's only one available where you could just go online and play, and that is Turf War. No matter what, you can always play Turf War with anyone, that's fine, but every other mode, you're stuck to a schedule. You're tied to a schedule and you can't change it, and you can't just go online and play when you want. You're stuck. So yeah, I really don't like that. And then the campaign for Splatoon 2 is something I will give it. The campaign is a lot better. You get to change constantly your weapons. You can learn. They teach you how to use the charger. They teach you how to use the roller. They teach you how to use every different class of weapons, which is neat. It does still have the same issue of there are things like puzzles and platforms and different aspects in the campaign that are never touched upon again, either in the same campaign or in the multiplayer modes. It still feels very separated. Also, almost forgot to mention this, in both campaigns, when you beat it, all you get is the same exact weapon as other weapons, the same base weapon of whatever weapon type, but you get to have it with a cooler skin. Still has the same subs and specials. It also costs more. You still have to buy it after you unlock it. Again, I think it's ridiculous, but whatever. That's only a minor thing. Overall, the campaign is a lot more well done. It's a lot more interesting and filled out. So I will give it that. And overall, just general thing at the end, like a conclusion sort of thing. What I did like, because don't get me wrong, there are things that I love about Splatoon. I love the unique focus on terrain and stage control rather than just killing your enemies. I do think other shooters also do that. However, with Splatoon, it envelops the core gameplay and affects all modes that you play. I think it would be cool to have, you know, a team squad deathmatch sort of thing for the game that you can play where the focus is killing, but that's just a minor thing. Overall, I still do really like the modes that they do have and the focus on terrain. I like some of the modes, such as Rainmaker, such as Tower Control. Salmon Run is neat sometimes when it's available and when it's cool, with a good loadout system. But overall, I do enjoy some of the modes. I do enjoy some of the weapons. Some of the weapons I think are really cool to use. I just personally wish I could change it up more, because a lot of my favorite weapons tend not to have the type of bombs I like or the special I enjoy using, but again, minor gripe. The concept as a whole, honestly, is really neat. I love the designs of the characters, I love the design of the world, and it's a neat concept, and I really wish I could enjoy it more, because, like I said, I want to enjoy this. I want to play the game. I want to just go online and play Rainmaker with some randoms and just have fun whenever I want. And if there weren't so many restrictions, I really think this could be one of my favorite games, because I really do enjoy the base gameplay. It's just too restricted for my liking, for me to really enjoy using it. I don't like waiting for a certain mode to be playable, or waiting to get a certain update that patches, I don't know, update that adds a weapon that was already in the old one, or adds a weapon or adds more maps, or adds modes and things like that. I don't like all this waiting to keep things fresh or whatever. And I do hope Splatoon 3 feels more like a sequel than Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 honestly just feels like Splatoon 1.3, can't even give it 1.5, because it just feels like, hey, we added Salmon Run, we added a new campaign, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, they added dualies or whatever, and they added some new weapons here or there, or they buffed and patched weapons here or there, but Splatoon updates themselves did that. Splatoon updates added new weapon types and added new modes, so it just feels like Splatoon 2 is this huge Splatoon update. It doesn't really do much aside from feeling new. It's part of the reasons I think the shopkeepers were done the way they were, where they just knew to be new, just to sell you that it's completely different, but it really doesn't feel like it. So I hope Splatoon 3 avoids that, and I really hope Splatoon 3 really changes up the game and really adds a lot of cool things overall. But yes, that's my big rant. Feel free to give your comments and thoughts on it. I will do my best to have a back and forth discussion with you guys, and other thought bubbles in the future will be either shorter or longer than this. It really depends on my thoughts and how passionate I am. I'm kind of honestly a little out of breath due to how passionate I'm feeling about this. But yeah, so give me your thoughts in the comments. We can have a conversation going. We can respond back and forth. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. What are yours? Thanks for hearing me out.